Welcome to this lesson on adding decimals. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. And my students, let's make sure we update our table of contents. The learning objective for today says I can fluently add multi-digit decimals. So on this slide, let's go ahead and talk about some of the vocabulary words. The first vocabulary word we want to look at is called annexing zeros. And annexing zeros mean to add zeros behind or in front of numbers. So if I had the number 4 and I want to make that look like a decimal, I can just place a decimal right behind the number 4, and to annex zeros, I can go ahead and add a 0 behind it. Adding that 0 does not change the value of our number. 4.0 is the same as 4. If I had the number 4, add another decimal, I can annex as many zeros behind it, and it does not change the value of the number. The next vocabulary word is called sum, and a sum is the answer to a addition problem. So now let's talk about some of the key concepts. So to add decimals, line up decimal points. Then add digits in the same place value positions. So what that means is that if I have these two numbers and I wanted to add these two decimals, what I needed to do is I need to line up the decimal points. Notice right now the red decimal point is not lined up with the blue decimal point. So if I keep moving my numbers over, here they are finally lined up. So now I can add these numbers because the decimal points are lined up. So once we do that, you want to make sure you annex zeros for your problem. So for example, let's go ahead and place zeros in front of the blue numbers. And notice how the zeros are lining up with the numbers below. And let's go ahead and annex zeros for the red numbers right below so that they can all line up. Now that I have these digits in place, I can sit there and add. So let's use these key concepts to discuss the following examples. So for example 1, it says find the sum, let's go ahead and underline that word sum, of 23 1/10 and 5 8/10. The sum means to add, so we're going to add these two digits together. Before we do that, let's go ahead and estimate. Let's take a look at 23 1/10. That kind of looks like $23.10, which is close to $23. And 5 8/10 looks like $5.80. That is close to $6. So if I add these together, I get 29. My answer should be approximately close to 29. That's my estimated answer. So now let's go ahead and find the sum, or our precise answers of the sum of these digits. So in my grid, I'm going to take 23 1/10, put the decimal right under the grid, and I'm going to add it with 5 8/10. Notice that the decimal points are all lined up. Now I can add each place value column. So 8 plus 1, that gets me 9. Let's drop down the decimal point. Drop it down. And 5 plus 3 is 8. And 2 plus nothing is just 2. So my final answer would be 28 9/10. Notice that is close to our estimate of 29, so we know our answer is reasonable. For example 2, it says find the sum of 29 6/10 and 14 7/10. So let's go ahead and underline the word sum, which means to add. So we're going to add these two digits, 29 6/10 and 14 7/10. So let's go ahead and estimate our answer. $29.60 is approximately close to $30, and $14.70 is approximately close to $15. So if I sat there and I add these two numbers, my answer will be approximately close to 45. So now let's go ahead and find the precise answer. I'm going to line up my decimals. So 29 6/10 would go in the top boxes. In the bottom boxes, I'm going to line up my decimals. So 14 7/10 will go right below it. Now let's go ahead and add. 6 plus 7 is 13. Let's carry the 1. 9 plus 4 is 13, plus the 1 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. So my final answer, precise answer, is 44 3/10, which is approximately close to our estimate of 45, so we know our answer is reasonable. So pause the video, complete these guided problems, and we'll discuss the answers in class tomorrow. Notice there are two got it problems on the slide, got it problem A and got it problem B. For example 3, it says Reagan is creating a video. The first video clip was 22 and 36 hundredths minutes long. The second video clip was 17 and 3 hundredths minutes long. What is the total length of the video? The first thing we want to do is underline the word total, because total is another keyword for adding. So we're going to add the digits, or the numbers that they've given us in this word problem. The first video clip was 22 and 36 hundredths, and the second video clip was 17 and 3 hundredths minutes long. Let's go ahead and estimate our answer. 22.36, that is approximately close to 22. Or if you think of $22.36, it's close to $22. And $17.03 is approximately close to $17. So if I add these together, my answer should be approximately close to $39. Or 39 minutes long. It's just easier to think of decimals as money. Now let's go ahead and figure out our precise answer. In each box, I'm going to write the digit of each number, so 22.36, and I'm going to line up 17 and 3 hundredths. Notice the decimals are lined exactly up. So let's start adding. 6 plus 3 is 9. 3 plus 0 is 3. Let's drop down the decimals. 2 plus 7 is 9. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So notice our precise answer is close to our estimated answer. And let's just make sure we put minutes long just to respond to the question. So pause the video, complete this got it problem, and we'll discuss the answer in class tomorrow. So now that you've completed this lesson, go ahead and self-rate yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this lesson that you do not understand, please go back and watch it again. Also come to class with some questions so we can discuss it in further detail.